Hey guys, Fox Protocol Mining here, coming at you from the Fox basement. Yeah, I had to change locale here. It's way too noisy out in the garage to do this. Matter of fact, I have shut down my rigs in here just so that I can do this video. This is going to be a review of these server cases I've been talking about. These are called Polo miners. They're in direct competition with Octominer. They're a direct USA product, so they're made right here in the USA and put together by a buddy of mine I met on Dreams Escrow. Uh, and I'm just going to jump in and do a quick review on these, kind of go over the features of the case, uh, and just some other random facts. Guys, I'm not sponsored to do this video. I'm not getting any kickback from anything that you see here. I just like supporting the community. So Polo, I'm not affiliated with the Polo miners. I'm not affiliated with Doge Lord Coffee or anything of the like. I'm just kind of doing this, just to help out community. So as you guys can see, I got my Doge Lord Coffee mug, my Doge Lord Coffee, my Savage Mind t-shirt from Doge Lord Apparel. So if you guys would show some kindness and check out those, I'll have links for everything down in the description, including more about these Polo miners. So let's jump into this, shall we? So we got the lid off here. This bad boy is coming with 4 fans here that are going to draw air through the case and out the back of the case, just in case you're not familiar with how server cases work. This has capacity for 8 GPUs. It does have an onboard drive that comes with it, a 2400 watt power supply, which is the standard, and this board is riserless, so you will not need to use any risers. It already comes with CPU and RAM, which you can kind of see it's tucked back in there. The way the power supply is hooked up is kind of genius. I love it because I come from open air setups, so we've got this 2400 watt power supply that feeds off and actually plugs directly into the board. You can see these white outlets here. Those are all inlines for the board. Everything you see down here, these are the outlines, which will plug right into your GPUs. Each one of these has got a dual splitter on it for 6+2 pin, so it can accommodate some of your larger GPUs. This is a support bar for the GPUs, so the GPUs are going to connect here on this rail, and they're also going to be held in place by this, which is screwed in on this side and on this side of the case. And there's also an extra support bar here, which gives the case a little bit more integrity. If you guys are running something like a 3080 or 3090, you're probably going to have to take this off too to be able to get your GPUs in here, but they do fit. However, with the limitation of the 2400 watt power supply, I believe you can only run 5 in this case. However, they do manufacture this case with a 3300 watt power supply option, so you can run 8 3090s out of this case, which is really cool. Also, yeah, it does have the onboard drive. In most cases, I've been getting 64 gigs. I have seen 1 or 2 128 gigs. But I think 64 gigs is meant to be the standard for this case, which is, if you're just running, even if you're running like a Windows operating system on that, that's plenty of space. So you won't have to worry about that. But all the cables are included. I mean, it literally comes with everything you need to operate, including the power supply cable. I haven't had any really big issues with these. Obviously, they're still fairly new, I think, in terms of how long they've been around. So, there's some issues with that. Here, let me zoom out here a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So this is just just the inside. I'm going to stick a GPU in here so you guys can kind of see how that works here in just a second. Price-wise, I don't want to quote prices just yet because I don't know, prices change from time to time, so I don't know if the price that I've been getting on these cases is still valid or not. However, they are available in minimum order quantities of 1 unit, so even residential miners can potentially get their hands on these because, Octominer, unless it's a special occasion, usually requires you to buy 5 units. Pardon my mess. Yeah, I'm in my laundry room. But, so that, and, when you're talking, Octominer's cases are cheap, but where they get you is the shipping. The shipping on the back end, because it's international shipping, especially here to the States, generally causes them to be unaffordable for most people, especially when you're ordering 5 cases and you're having to pay $200+ to ship it. So that's just something to keep in mind. You got your back end here. So because these run a minimum 2400 watt power supply, you do need to have a 220 to 40 volt electric hookup in order to power these cases. They will not work on a standard 110 outlet, which shouldn't really be a shock because these are designed to house 8 GPUs, and in most cases you can't run like 8 GPUs on a single 15 amp circuit anyway, or at least not safely. So, oh man, I'm trailing off here. Well, let me go get a GPU to plug into this bad boy, and we will see what that looks like. All right, so we got this GPU in here. This is an equivalent to a 1080. This is a P104-100. So as you can see, there's still room here. We still have quite a bit of space before we're hitting this fan. This bar is firmly attached. Now, the only problem with this bar that you may run into is if you're running different GPUs in here that are different heights, the bar kind of becomes redundant because it's only going to contact the highest GPU. So, like I said, there's a screw here on this bar, and it keeps things nice and snug. So this GPU is not going anywhere. You got your power connector on the back end. Still have an extra 8-pin because this is just a single 8. So you still have a lot of room. The spacing between GPUs is generally, if they're smaller like this, you get about 2 fingers of space. If you're going to run like a 3080 Ti rig in here, and you're going to run the 3300 watt power supply to do that, then you're probably going to have about a finger or less of room in between the GPUs. However, these fans move a lot of air, like a lot. So I haven't had any heat issues in these cases at all. Summer has not yet come, so I can't speak to the performance we're going to see in the summertime, but yeah, so that's what you're looking at with the how the GPUs are fitting in here. And honestly, the thing, when it's full spun up, it's pretty cool. Noise wise, these fans are loud. These are the same fans that you'll experience on ASICs. So, and right now, if you do not buy, in addition, this is an optional feature for the case. This is a little fan controller. Obviously, you can see the manual knob. So your fans will actually plug into this instead of the board. This will be mounted somewhere inside the case if you opt to get it. It's powered off the main power supply, the 6-pin, and this allows you to control the fan speed. So you can set them, as low as they go or as high as they get. So that way in the wintertime, you save yourself some power, you save yourself some fan life, because you really don't need the fans running wide open come wintertime. So this is pretty nice. This is an optional feature. He did talk about making this standard, but I don't know where we're at with that. So this, as for right now, as far as I know, this is still an optional feature. This is just one he gave to me. I haven't plugged it in, haven't used it yet. All my fans are still running wide open, which is something I'm looking to correct in the future. Quirks with the case. You can see this blue wrap here. It's like a protective thing for the case. I highly recommend removing that, just like you would any, like the GPU wrap you get when you buy a new GPU. Highly recommend pulling that off these cases because they get stringy, and then they get sucked into the fans, and that can kill the fans. I've actually killed one fan doing that. So I've made a point to, as I go, kind of rip this off. Performance-wise, guys, so full transparency, I have ordered 26 of these cases to date. I have 2 that are not in operation yet, just because I don't have capacity yet. But out of the 24 I've had in operation, I have had a few fan failures, which is pretty atypical to expect, especially when you're running the fans wide open all the time. I haven't had anything catastrophic go wrong. I have had one board failure, but for one board failure for every 25 units isn't a huge deal to me, especially because the gentleman who makes these cases was very gracious to send me a replacement board at no cost to make sure that I could get it back up and running. And for the most part, most of the fan failures he's been covering, not all of them, but most of them, I've seen him step up and say, hey, I'll take care of that. So the customer support on these is absolutely excellent, and I know he's really looking to ramp up business. I know he's been looking for some YouTubers to do a video like this for his cases. So I just kind of took it upon myself to do that, just because I really like these. You know, they're very affordable for what they are, and they've completely changed the game for me. You know, I used to be full open air rig, and now I'm looking at these. So I'm going to walk over here, guys, because obviously here you can see I employ quite a few of these. But I wanted to, before I wrap this up, I want to just cover noise, because like I said, these are loud. You know, these are not something that you can just run next to your desk and expect to still be able to carry on a conversation. Like if I come up here, these are ready to power on. So yeah, that gets pretty gnarly. And that's just one. You can imagine what it would sound like with all. You know, it would be absolutely deafening. So bear that in mind, guys, when you're purchasing something like this, because this is a little bit different. However, again, just in summary, minimum order quantity on these is 1 unit. Right now, currently, Dreams Escrow is really the only way to get these, unless you're willing to trust him to do a direct order from him. I know he's got a website in the works. I don't believe it's launched yet, because this is really early, guys. So obviously, I just wanted to give him some exposure and a shout out. I will link everything you need to know about these down below, as well with links, and of course links to Doge Lord Apparel, Doge Lord Coffee. That way, you know, because we need to support our local community, guys. So that is it for this video. I think I've drone on long enough. You know, this is a wonderful server case. Overall, despite the very minor issues I've had with these, I still heavily recommend them, especially against octo miners, just because you don't have to deal with multiple PSUs. You don't have to deal with, you know, waiting 30 days plus to get these. These will ship domestically in the United States. Of course, you're going to have to pay extra for the shipping, or you can local pick these up out of Indiana. So that is completely up to you guys. But I'm going to hop off here, guys. I'm Fox Protocol Mining, coming at you from the Fox basement. Later, guys.